What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I know I've been pretty absent lately. There's been a lot that's been going on personally, some good, some not so good. Just mainly being busy. We recently had a baby girl welcomed into the family, so obviously that takes a lot of, my attention, my wife's attention. And we also, full-time jobs, and we have the two boys to take care of. So there's been a lot. It's been pretty difficult to find time to come and do some of these videos, but I didn't want to completely give up. And I actually did find a quick, brief moment to do this video, and I just wanted to, take advantage of it. So the first thing I wanted to say was thank you for all of you. Thank you to all the people who stuck around and stayed subscribed and watched my videos sparingly when I could put them up. Second of all, thank you, really big thank you to Real Batman, who has I've seen quite a few of his videos, and he's mentioned my name a couple times, trying to help the channel grow and all that. So I appreciate it. Um, I mean, the fact of the matter is, as much as he might try, I still have to put the content up. And like I said, the last 3 or 4 months, it's been very few and far in between. And like I said, part of that is due to just being too busy. It's tough, guys. I mean, for those of you that are in the same boat as me, you guys know when you have a family, especially with young kids and full-time jobs and stuff like that, it doesn't. This comes secondary. I don't get paid to do this. This is more for fun, and unfortunately, I have to fill my fatherly duties and my provider duties before doing this. But still, nonetheless, I just want to say thank you, Real Batman, for the shout outs and the mentioning and stuff. It's greatly appreciated. And like I said, thank you to the those that decided to stick around and still watch the videos when they come up. But speaking of Real Batman, and one video I watched that he recently put up was he was talking about McFarlane, and I've been wanting to do this for a little while now because McFarlane has some pretty cool projects coming out, pre-order wise and whatnot, and I wanted to talk about that and kind of touch base on that. But then he brought up this interesting topic, or this interesting interview that McFarlane had, so I figured we might as well touch up on that too. But yeah, so let's just dive right into it. I mean, honestly, I want to start off with some of the stuff that really looks cool that he's coming out with, and we'll go from there. Okay, so first and foremost, as you guys can see here, I'm on McFarlane Toys Store. This is his webpage. And one thing I was very excited to see is the sports lineup is, this is the NFL sports lineup. This is the second wave, I believe. And it looks cool, man. I mean, as you guys can see, a pre-order, 120 bucks, four figures, about 30 bucks a figure. And they look cool. I like how they have the stand with them. So let's click on these guys here. So right here, you got Josh Allen. I really like how it's the figure well detailed. Look at that. He's got the coat on, his hands in the pocket there. It says Allen Bills. It's got the Buffalo Bills coin. It's got that neat little background. Like, that's so cool, man. There's Tyreek Hill. Dude, so awesome. There's Bosa, personal favorite of mine. Come on. Let me scroll down a little bit. So there's Bosa. So sick. We got Pickett from the Steelers. So that's the four in this set. Really cool. I like the fact that, he's putting it on the website for pre-order, which is pretty interesting. So you can get all four guys, one of each, $120. Really neat. And then knowing McFarlane, he also has a Jalen Hurts here. And then if you want, he does these too. I don't know why he does this. I mean, I know why he does it. It's to make money, obviously. But as you guys can see here, you can, like, for example, you can order the Nick Bosa. It's a six pack. 5 are red, 1 is the Chase white. Same thing with Pickett. 5 are black, Chase white. Tyreek Hill's got the 5 with the 1. And the cool thing is that I noticed that the Tyreek Hill one, the card in the back's different, but not for Bosa and Pickett. That's interesting. I wonder why he changed the card in the back. Can you guys see that? Look, I'm gonna bring it in a little bit closer. So you guys can see that Tyreek Hill is actually, like, the card actually matches the figure. Huh. Whereas with the other two, he's not doing that. I wonder why. That's weird. And then Josh Allen. Apparently this is the chase. Oh, I see the blue jersey underneath. Wow, I almost missed. I couldn't even tell. The blue jersey underneath, whereas the rest of them are wearing white jerseys. So what is the chase for? So for the Hertz, it's a 6-pack, but no chase. Okay. Maybe the figure itself is the chase. And then they have Series 1. Really cool. You got Barry Sanders, classic legend right there. Really nice. You got Mahomes. Okay, so it's very similar to the Josh Allen one. But dude, just look at the detail this guy does on his sports picks, dude. So nice, man. Like that's one thing. So good. Burrow. There's Hurts. Okay, so yeah, I think that other one is a chase straight up because there's the regular Hurts right there in the white jersey, and then you got my boy Kittle right there. So awesome, dude. I'm tempted to definitely grab my two 49ers, of course. Let's see. So you got the Barry Sanders in gold as well. That's pretty cool. This one's Barry in blue, Barry in white, and Barry gold. Man, McFarlane loves them repaints and variants, doesn't he? I think so. Burrows in white. I think Kittle's a white one too. Yeah, Kittle. There's a white version of Kittle. But dude, all of them, the cards are the exact same whether they're a chase or not. But for some odd reason, with Tyreek Hill, he changed the card in the back. That's the only one that maybe that's something he's going to start doing. I don't know, but that's interesting. And even the coin thing in the front, because as you can see, it's a red with the dolphin, whereas the rest of them are like that. But none of the other ones are like that. That's really weird. I wonder why. Maybe that's McFarlane's favorite over there. So that's cool. Sports NFL picks he seems to be picking them up. $30 a pop, not bad. I really like the little display and the card back to it. Really nice. Definitely something I could see, being a diehard fan of a team or something, picking that up. Absolutely. But that's not all he's doing. As you guys know, McFarlane tends to do a lot of, he dips into a lot of different things. So let's see here. Let's go into the DC multiverse. So these I think are cool. I like the what do they call them? The sketch editions. I actually kind of like these, the black and white like that. That's kind of cool. Hazmat suit Batman sketch edition. I'm also a fan of these. These are actually the statues. You got the blue and gray, and then you got the black and gray with like the blue tint underneath. Really like these. I think these are really cool. They're 1/8 scale statues. I actually do have the black and white of this down in my collection. There is a black and white version. Same pose and everything. It's just, it's black and white. We got the Joker right here, which that's pretty neat. Cool little base for that. That's cool, man. Look at that. Man. It's another statue. Wonder Woman. Got some of his figures here. So that's the chase right there of the Wonder Woman. There's the Chase Batman and Chase Superman. It's actually Bizarro, isn't it? Oh, it's just radioactive, I guess. Kryptonite, whatever. Yeah. And then his dog's kryptonite, too. There it is. Superman and his dog. Everything's sold out, man. Captain Carrot. Here is the Batman and Robin bundle. set of 4 with Mr. Freeze Build-A-Figure. Okay, so we got Mr. Freeze right there. That's the Build-A-Figure. We got Poison Ivy, Batgirl, Robin, and Batman. You know what? These actually don't look too bad. I actually kind of see the actors in this. That looks like that could pass for George Clooney. You know, Robin. I don't know, maybe a little bit. I kind of see the actors in this. That's it's not too shabby. Now, one thing I did want to touch on is that one thing I want to touch on is that there's been talk on why he started with this set as opposed to starting with the Tim Burton and the '89 Keaton Batman, I should say, the Keaton Batman. And I think the reason why is because if I'm not mistaken, I don't think he's done these characters yet. And I think because McFarlane's one of those guys that he kind of goes by the beat of his own drum. And I think that's why he started with this set, was because he had just finished doing Michael Keaton's Batman in the Flash movie. Now I know it's not the one from Tim Burton, but still it is still Michael Keaton as Batman. So I'm wondering if he's kind of going this route, if he's kind of going this way because he wants to, just do some different characters. So, or same characters, different actors, I should say. But as far as the look of these do not look bad. 25 a piece. Okay. This one's a McFarlane Toy Store exclusive. And we all know McFarlane loves those exclusives, man, especially the store ones. I mean, hell, he's even doing it in his own shop now. So this is a gold label McFarlane Toy exclusive. This is the website. The website exclusive. Okay. Batman and Spawn, really cool. We got Christmas Batman, and we got, I think it's supposed to be like Silent Night. It says it right here. Batman Santa, and okay, so it just says red and then blue. It's kind of cool, not bad, very festive. And then we got Red Robin Jokerized. Okay, cool. Let's see what else we got. I don't care for the Aquaman stuff, dude. I'm not a big Aquaman fan. And let's see, how did he do with him though? Let's be fair. Does that look like Jason Momoa? Not really. I don't even think that's the right skin tone for Jason Momoa. Right? I don't even think that's the right skin tone. See what I mean? I don't get it, man. Sometimes he knocks it out of the park with the face sculpts, and like then other times not so much. I don't know if it's a licensing issue or what. I mean, it's not terrible. It's just doesn't really look like Jason Momoa. It's not terrible though. Let's see, he did this one too. So this one's a statue. This one looks closer. Even the skin tone looks closer. I don't know. That's for Aquaman fans to argue about, though. I'm not an Aquaman fan, so I don't really care. This is 40. Oh, this is another statue. This is a $40 statue. Oh, what the hell? That doesn't. Wow. I don't like that one at all. Personally, I don't like that one at all. That Catwoman's pretty awesome. Let's see what else we got here. Got more of the Superpower Wave guys coming. There was some stuff I really wanted to. This is kind of cool. The Heath Ledger Joker. The interrogation scene, like that's kind of cool. Look at that. Even in the box, it looks sick. It's got the different hands, the card. That's cool, man. I kind of like that one. I kind of like that one, to be honest with you. Another one I really like, dude, believe it or not, I actually really like. I've seen it a couple times in store, but I'm trying to be careful with how much money I spend. But this Mr. Freeze, dude, I really like the look of this Mr. Freeze. This thing is so cool. Definitely a fan of that Mr. Freeze. Like that one a lot. This Batman's kind of cool too, the Dark Knight one, where he's like legitly like a knight. Look at that. That is cool too. All right. So then we got this. We got two different versions of Heath Ledger's Joker plus the Bane. So what is it? Sonar? I think it's Sonar, right? Yeah, Sonar version. Or Vision, I'm sorry. And then that's him, the bank teller one. We have the interrogation one. So that's kind of neat. I've seen the what is it? Two-faced version figures. Those are cool. This one's cool. Look at this. Ha ha ha. It's purple. It's like Joker um vandalized it. Really nice. Blue Beetle stuff. I don't really know anything about Blue Beetle. And all right, so now we're starting to get back to stuff that I've already like older I've already looked at and stuff. Oh, here it is actually. I see like the Two-Faced yeah, Two-Face as Batman. Like that's kind of cool. I've seen that. Yeah, now we're getting to older stuff. Okay. So that's not all. Movies and games. Let's see what he's got for movies and games. I actually kind of like this Pennywise right here. I don't care about that Flash at all, but that Pennywise is actually pretty cool. I actually kind of like the look of that Pennywise. And even the Lord of the Rings guy, I forgot his name. What's his name? Aragon, I think. I don't know. But don't really care for the Flash one. Um, I think that's supposed to be from what is it? It's what's his name dressed up as the Flash. Sheldon. There we go. It says it right there. Sheldon dressed up as the Flash. I mean, it's cool if you're a fan of the Big Bang Theory, but look at that Pennywise, dude. That is a cool Pennywise. I wouldn't mind picking that up. That's pretty neat. Got some Jumanji stuff. It's, I guess if you really like Jumanji. So yeah, he's got a lot of things. I mean, we all know he's got the Witcher 2-pack. Like, I mean, he's got so much stuff coming, around the corner. He, never stops. He keeps cranking them out. 20 different versions of these guys, different colors and all that stuff. It becomes overwhelming. I have not purchased a McFarlane figure in some time, to be honest with you, just because, like I said, I'm trying to cut back, and he just cranks them out way too fast. Um, Now that being said, apparently McFarlane doesn't care, and he's not wrong, because other people will buy the stuff. So if you don't want to buy it, other people will. from what I've heard. Okay, so before I get too far into this, I'm not going to play the whole video. Um, I'm sure he wouldn't mind, Real Batman. I'm sure he wouldn't mind. But I think if you guys want to watch it, just go to his page and watch it. I mean, he puts up some really good content, and I think, it's very enjoyable stuff. So I don't want to take his content, but I just want to show you the part that I'm talking about, and then I can then take a look for myself, because the title of this is called McFarlane Okay with Scalping. Now, that is very interesting. So we need to see what this is all about. Like, is Real Batman mistaken, misunderstanding? Like, what's the deal here? Because I have not seen this interview personally, but I want to show you the part that I'm talking about. Just fast forward.
Kind of really will, and that's fine. That's completely and that is that he is. We live in a capitalistic society, and he's completely okay with people turning around and buying his $20 figures and flipping them on eBay for $80.
Okay, so I hope it's coming across clear, but he's saying that McFarlane said he's okay with people buying his figures for 20 and turning around on eBay and selling it for 80, because we live in a capitalistic society. So he's okay with it. Okay, so there's more to it though, but I just wanted to get that beginning point out.
Sir, Mr. McFarlane, if that is your stance, I have to respect it, even if I disagree with it. But this is my stance in rebuttal to that. It takes a special kind of a-hole and greedy son of a bitch to say that in a live stream. You're trying to.
So it was a live stream. I guess it was a live stream interview. He's gonna say it, and then we'll go and check it out ourselves.
To get people to buy in your all digital products and your multiverse line, and at the same time, those same people that have been telling you stop with the store exclusives, it only helps scalpers, you're condoning that behavior.
Okay. Now, now that right there is a very interesting thing to talk about. Me and Real Batman have talked about it many times on and off camera, and it's no surprise neither one of us are really fans of scalpers. It's one thing if you go to the store, you buy one, you bring it home, and then you maybe decide you don't want it anymore and you sell it for whatever the value is going for. That's hey man, we all change our minds about things we buy. We all have the right to sell it. It's another thing though if you go to the store and you buy the entire shelf of, whatever, and your only concern is turning around and selling and trying to make more money. And I am extremely surprised that McFarlane would say that he's okay with it, because in the long run, this kind of screws him too, because what's happening is it's beefing up or falsely inflating his sales numbers. Actually, the PlayStation 5 had an issue with this not that long ago, where scalpers were buying up all the PlayStation 5. So their numbers were saying that they were selling, that they sold millions of consoles. But when they actually looked to see how many consoles were actually up and running and actually actively being used, the number was not nearly as high. And it's because the scalpers are buying it and just storing it. So then what ends up happening is you as a company make more, and then your demand isn't met because scalpers are not dumb. What ends up happening is they see if it's not selling for, whatever. Let's just use his analogy. He said $20 to $80. If it doesn't sell for 80, they'll lower it to 60. They'll lower it to 50. And then what will happen is someone will buy it from them. And then maybe a couple months later, McFarlane releases those figures again. And now they're sitting. And they end up being clearanced, because the people that originally wanted them didn't think they were coming back out. You ended up buying them from scalpers, and you bought them, more than the $20, but not as much as the $80. So to you, you're kind of like, oh, whatever, it's not a big deal. So I'm surprised he is fully okay with it, because that throws off his numbers too onto what he's expecting to sell. But I guess in the long run, a sale is a sale, right? So I guess he doesn't really, he Real Batman saw the interview. Apparently, he doesn't care. Um, it's kind of messed up though. Lately, I've been really diving into uh, cards, Pokemon cards in particular. Me and my sons have been really diving headstrong into that, and it's happened a lot there too, where people are going into stores. Not so much now. It seems like it's calmed down a little bit, but they're going to stores. They wipe out the shelves, and then people can't buy cards. And the scalping thing is really annoying because especially for, like I said, the cards. Uh, you need the cards to play the game, and it's a real concern when they're just turning around, wiping an entire shelf and selling it, and then we're sitting here as collectors, regardless of whatever item we're talking about. We're sitting here as collectors, pushing at the store, the store level, telling the store managers and the employees and stuff that they need to put limits and they need to stop this and they need to cut back on this. But then you got guys like McFarlane who are making the product themselves just okay with it, and they don't care, and they're just letting it out. So it's kind of tough to battle the scalping thing when that's going on. The only real way to battle it, and me and him have talked about it before, is to not buy from the scalpers and make them stop doing it or lower the price to where it's more manageable. I mean, listen, hey, an extra $5-10, fine, but when you're looking at, so much more than what it is, it seems just so artificial to me. It just doesn't seem right, and it seems, I don't know, just doesn't seem right. It takes away from the hobby, and it's not naturally letting it become valuable. It's purposely just inflating the numbers, and just doesn't sound right to me. So anyway, I'm gonna play a little bit more. I want to see if he where he says the interview, and we'll go check it out.
In your live stream. That's right. He took a huge pee-pee all over you guys, R. Kelly style. And I sat there and I waited to see if anybody would touch it with a 10-foot pole in the chat. Because while I was on, there was around 350 to 400 people watching. Not one person said nothing. Crickets.
It's a good crowd, 400
I have a
people.
problem with that. And for those of you who say, oh, they're just trying to feed their families. If you're trying to feed your family, you don't need 20 to 30 PS5s.
And I've talked about that too. I don't buy it, dude. I'm sorry. To feed your families, I'm trying to feed my family too. I work every day. I do what I got to do. So, I mean, why stop there? I mean, robbing banks, they're just trying to feed their families too, right? The criminals just trying to feed their families. So I don't buy that crap at all. Sorry. Go get a job, a real job. Instead of buying something that I mean, let's be honest. The only advantage they have is that they're there before you, right? I mean, what do scalpers do different than the rest of us? They just show up before we do. They're not making the product. They're not building the product. They're not improving the product. They're just literally going to the store before I can get there or you can get there, picking it up, picking it all up, and then bringing it home and then putting it on the internet to sell it for more. That's it. That's all they're doing. It's not like they're benefiting or making anything better for anybody. So honestly, it's like I said, if you have stuff already and you're selling it and you're trying to make it, fine, whatever. I don't care about that. But when you're purposely going and wiping out shelves, I think it's scummy. I think it's messed up, dude. And you got to stop buying from scalpers, man.
At $500 a piece. Pretty sure that those 20 to 30 PS5s would have paid some bills and put some food on the table. And if for those of you going to say he was talking about his products, no. When you say we live in a capitalistic society, no shit, Sherlock, you're okay with it across the board. So for parents trying to buy, whether it's McFarlane figures or other figures for their kids for Christmas, because scalpers don't only target stuff that's geared towards collectors, they target everything that they feel is going to be
And they do.
hard to find or valuable, including stuff for kids. I've had conversations with people that have had to give in and buy from scalpers so they wouldn't have to look at their disappointing child's face on Christmas or birthdays or what have you.
And that's the problem. It puts pressure. Your son, your daughter, whatever, really wants that hot new toy, hot new whatever, and it twists people's arms. Me personally, I haven't. Thankfully, my kids have a pretty broad horizon with what they like and what they, you know, I purposely tell them when they make a Christmas list and birthday list to add a lot. Put a ton of stuff on there. You're not going to get everything, but put like 100 items on there. And you know what? If there was something you really wanted and you couldn't get it this time, maybe next time. And I'm very fortunate. My boys are very understanding, and they might kind of be like, oh, that kind of stinks, but I'm happy that I got this and that and this and that. So, but I understand what he's saying though.
And this is a whole other level of greed and not just giving a shit, only caring about the bottom dollar.
Which is what I was saying.
As long as he's selling his product, he doesn't care that somebody else is making more money on it.
Yeah.
Here's where I have a problem with that. Like I said, and I'm going to say it again, it doesn't only happen with stuff that's geared towards collectors. It happens with stuff that's geared towards kids. It happens with stuff. It happened in the freaking pandemic. You're okay with that, McFarlane? You're okay with people turning around and taking advantage of a pandemic and flipping $5-6 sanitizing bottles, hand sanitizer bottles for fucking $35, $50, $60, $70?
No, obviously that is not equivalent to a figure, but the idea is the same. People took advantage of something that people wanted and turned around and sold it for a lot more. And that's messed up. So I understand what you're saying. Yeah, he might be a little bit on a more, reaching for the extreme on that one. But it's the same type of idea. You're still kind of taking something that's in demand and wiping out shelves and just raising the price. So it's not right.
I was watching that town hall / live stream that McFarlane did on the 28th. I believe it was the 28th last night, that McFarlane did, trying to get people, the consumer, to buy into his all digital stuff, whether it's comics or whatever it is that he's trying to get. And while he's trying to appeal to the very same consumer to be all in on that or get out of the way, it's a buffet type style. If you don't want it, somebody else will. And that's fine. He's been pretty successful over the years with what he's done. What he goes on to say in that live stream, and I encourage you to go watch it if you missed it, because these are not my words, these are his. Kind of really motivated me to do my second episode of Talk.
All right, so that's the stuff. Like I said, I don't want to watch the whole video. It's his content. Please go check him out. Awesome dude, awesome videos, great stuff. Really good points. I want to give my own personal take on it. So let's search it up. Okay, so it's got to be this one. 4 days ago, he said the 28th. Yeah, it's got to be this one. Oh shit, it's over an hour long. Fuck, dude.
Today, if you have any questions.
All right, guys. As you guys can see, I had to stop and actually watch the video. I didn't realize how long the interview actually was, or the live was. It actually is like an hour and a half, or a little over an hour, something like that. So I was not gonna just keep it on pause and watch the whole thing right here. So I ended up watching it, and now we're back to to actually film my thoughts on it. So yeah, so I watched it. So now I watched it, and now I know what Real Batman was talking about. So I'm actually going to bring up the part right now to show you guys.
Actually might enjoy it, right? So if you don't like the Spawn comic, don't buy it. Move out of the way. Somebody behind you might. If you don't like the toy I'm doing, get out of the way. Somebody behind you might. And if you don't like digital art, it's okay, fine. Like I said, it's a buffet. Put on your plate what you like. Get out of the way.
So that's what he was talking about, the whole buffet analogy, which is a very good analogy, actually. And a buffet, there's a bunch of different food laid out. You go through with your plate and you pick what you want. So as far as what he's saying, he's actually quite accurate, and that's a very great way to look at it, is that these companies put out product, and just like a buffet, you're not forced to take one, and you're not forced to eat it if you don't want it. You can skip it, move out of the way, and let somebody who actually enjoys it grab it. The problem that I have is that last time I checked, you can't go into a buffet and completely wipe out the tray of food. You know what I mean? Like, you can't go in there and just go right down the line emptying the trays. I'm pretty sure the restaurant would have something to say about that, but just trying to stick with the whole buffet analogy that he uses.
And move back behind it. But our job is to put, to me as an artist, is to show art in as many different places and to make it as accessible to many people as possible. So that's why digital art exists. May not be for everybody, but a ton of people actually enjoy the heck out of it, right?
So the whole digital art thing, NFTs and all that. Me personally, I don't care about that stuff. It's not for me. Just like he's saying. So if this was the buffet, I would move out of the way. I'm not into NFTs. That's not my thing. But if you are, great. And that's kind of what he was talking about, the whole digital art and um, digital comics and stuff like that. And it's I'm not 100% like opposed to it. I mean, I think the idea of like digital comics and digital books is actually kind of neat because like for example, you could have something as small as your phone hold 10,000 books, which is nice because I don't know about you, but I don't have really space to put 10,000 physical books. So I kind of I that's why I'm not completely opposed to the whole digital idea. I still like things physically, personally, but I'm not opposed to it, especially since as I've gotten older and I've had more clutter in the house with like things like books and figures and video games and movies and all that stuff. I've I've kind of started to gear a little bit more towards digital, just because the fact of having less to clean and less to find homes for and stuff like that. But there's still a large part of me that likes the physical. I like the fact that if my internet goes down or if there's some kind of licensing issue with the companies or something like that, I can easily just pick up my disc, put it in. Now, the thing is, it doesn't so much work that great like that for video games, only because video games nowadays, it seems like the disc is just like just almost like a proof that you bought the game, because I feel like if you don't have internet, you're not gonna be able to play most of those games anyway or access them. So video games kind of seem like they already went that path. They're already pretty much there. They just pretty much put discs in the store just to say you have it, because I don't know about you guys, but most of the time when I put in a game, I'm waiting for that update, that download, whatever. And it's kind of a pain. I mean, it's one of those things where, kind of showing my age a little bit, but I liked how before you could just put a game in and instantly start playing. Whereas now you put a game in and you might have to wait, half an hour to actually play the game. Now on the flip side of that, obviously, games that are not finished, you can actually, through updates and all that, get them fixed and get them working. So that's the flip side of it. Whereas back then, if the game was, had a laggy part or some kind of glitch, well, it was part of the game. So like everything else, there's two sides to every story.
Right? And are there some who just buy it because they want to flip it? Yeah. What are you talking about? That's what the stock market's about, right? So I don't know. We live in a capitalist society. I don't begrudge people for buying a $20 toy from us, going to eBay and figuring out how to get $80 for it. Everybody gets to basically do their own sort of lifestyle and do whatever you want. I'm going to look at a couple questions there.
All right, so that was the comment that Real Batman was talking about, okay? So let's listen to it again just so that way I don't misspeak here, okay?
Many different places and to make it as accessible to many people as possible. So that's why digital art exists. May not be for everybody, but a ton of people actually enjoy the heck out of it, right? And are there some who just buy it because they want to flip it? Yeah. What are you talking about? That's what the stock market's about.
Okay, so he's acknowledging that he knows that people buy things, flip things, trying to make a profit on it, and he says the stock market does the same thing. Now, I don't know anything about stocks, so I can't comment on that.
So I don't know. We live in a capitalist society. I don't begrudge people for buying a $20 toy from us, going to eBay and figuring out how to get $80 for it.
Okay, he doesn't begrudge people. Okay, that's what he says. So let's look up the definition. Okay, so the word begrudge means to envy or resent the pleasure or good fortune. Okay, now that doesn't mean that he's not saying that he likes it. He's not saying that he agrees with it. He's just saying that he doesn't to that do it. To be reluctant to give, grant, or allow. So to be reluctant to grant or allow, she will not begrudge the money spent on her children's education. Okay. To be reluctant to give, grant, or allow. Okay, so he knows it happens. He's aware of it. He's saying that it's common, especially in our type of society, and we pretty much it's not something new, and he doesn't really hate anybody or is angry with anybody that does it.
Everybody gets to basically do their own sort of lifestyle and do whatever you want.
So what he's saying is he doesn't hate anybody that does it. It doesn't really bother him. The problem is that from a non-scalper's perspective, we are only frustrated because the scalping stops the collectors, the ones that don't want to turn around and try to make $60 profit on something that's $20. It bothers us when we just want it and add it to the collection. Now that is where a lot of us are screaming from the mountaintops at these companies like NECA, like McFarlane, like Hasbro, like all these companies. Every single company has issues with scalping and has problems with scalping, and us as collectors, we are screaming from the mountaintops, not so much to stop the scalping, at least not for me anyway. I don't care. If someone walks into a store and buys, 10, 20 figures, and wants to turn around and flip it, that's on them. What I'm saying is that you should still be able to give the rest of us a chance to get it at the regular market value. And that's where we see, it's not perfect. It's not perfect by any means, but we do see some companies trying to combat it in their own way. Like we've seen NECA in the past do pre-orders on their website, open pre-orders for 2 weeks or whatever. So that is part of the way that you can combat the scalpers. We've seen companies like Sony with the PlayStation 5. They heard what was going on with scalpers. What did they do? They started going into a thing where, if I'm not mistaken, they were like emailing people that were actually playing on the PlayStation 4, and that had their emails linked to their it's not a gamer tag, what do they call it, a PSN network or whatever, and they were actually emailing the people, letting them know, hey, we see that you're playing on the PS4. If you're interested in a PS5, here's the email, and you just got to I believe it was sign in. And when you signed in, they gave you the chance to get the PlayStation 5. I can't fully remember exactly what it was, but it was something along those lines. And that's just some of the ways that these companies are showing us collectors that, hey, we hear you. We want you to have our product too and enjoy it, and without having to pay scalper prices. But we're not gonna go and step on the toe on the retail market's toes. What we're going to do is just do something through our own thing, which is fine. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, if someone goes and wipes out Target or Walmart, and Target and Walmart isn't doing anything to combat scalpers and try to make it where it's like a limit of 1 or a limit of 2, that sucks. But if at the very least I can go on the website, the company's website, and put a pre-order in, and I've been on record of saying it, I don't care if I pre-order something from NECA, from McFarlane or whatever, and I know it's coming, even if it takes a few months. But the fact that I know I'm going to get my hands on it, I'm okay with it. I don't care. I will gladly place my pre-order with these companies through their website, wait 2, 3, 4 months, and then finally get it in my hands, in the mail. Now obviously there's other things that, are concerns, like the packages coming in damaged or whatever, especially if you're the type of person that keeps your items in box. That's definitely a concern. So I understand that. But I'm talking about just purely having a fair shake at getting these things. Now, to be perfectly honest with you, it's one of those things where at least if companies do that, they're at least giving us a chance to get it. And, you know, if I had to, like if a package came in damaged, then you know what? I'll open it. At least I have the figure. That's what I care about, is whether it's in package or not. I mean, obviously, for the most part, I prefer keeping them in package. But if something was like, let's say I ordered something that I knew is impossible to get my hands on, you know, scalpers scalp the crap out of it. But the company allowed a pre-order like NECA, and it comes in, and the package is a little damaged. Would I be disappointed? Very little. Because you know what? The way I'd look at it is it's kind of like, kind of like that whole beggars can't be choosers type of thing. I would look at it like I'm at least getting my hands on this product at the regular retail price. Do you know what I mean? And that's kind of, once again, that's not how everyone looks at it. That's how I look at it, though. And my frustration personally, like I said, I'm not going to speak for real Batman. I'm not going to speak for everybody else. My frustration personally is when companies release these exclusives to stores, and, people like me who have kids and have full-time jobs, we have to just not get it. It's the bottom line. We either don't get it or we get it from scalpers, which I'm not getting from scalpers. I refuse. But that's my problem. And my problem with this comment that he's saying here is not so much that he doesn't have a problem with it, because once again, once he sends it to the stores, it's not really his concern. It's once it goes to the store, the retailers, they're the ones that should be responsible for what ends up happening after. Um, but my big problem is that he shouldn't say he's fully okay with it either. It should just be one of those things where it's, do kind of what NEC is doing. Give us the chance to get it through your own personal company and order it that way. You know, Now, once again, I just want to throw this out there too. Me personally, I don't really care. I've cut back on McFarlane stuff a lot lately. He's pumping them out so fast anyway that I can't keep up with him. I don't have space. I don't have money. I can't keep up with it. So to me personally, this doesn't affect me in that regards, because he does so many products. He does so many different variants of the same characters, same product, that the way I look at it is, for example, you know, take actually take that Batman statue that I showed you guys, the one where he has his cape up. I have the black and white version in my collection already. Now the other two versions look great. The blue and gray and the black and gray look fantastic. Now if that scalp and issue was to happen there, the way I would look at it is I at least got one. Do you know what I mean? Like, would I like to get all three? Yeah, they look awesome. I would love to get all three of them. But just the fact of having at least one, I'm good. I'm happy. I'm content. I got one. Move on, and I don't really care. So with McFarlane, that's one thing I do have to say that he does a lot of, is he does a lot of variants and different colors and different versions and all that stuff of the same guy. So 9 times out of 10, I'll say 8 times out of 10, you should be able to get some form of representation from that character that you're looking for from his company, whether it be a Spawn character, a Batman character, whatever. And yeah, it might not be the exact, version of it that you want, but if you can get your hands at least on one of the versions, that's great. Now, it shouldn't have to be like that. I understand. But the thing too is just being patient. A lot of the times these prices, sometimes as time passes and new hot items come out, sometimes the prices drop on the older ones. So, I mean, is it messed up that he's saying he's kind of okay with it? I mean, kind of, yeah. I mean, I that's not what I want to hear. That's not what I want to hear from, these toy companies and these companies like that. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that, there's something I'm really looking forward to grabbing, going to the store. But not only are scalpers making it extremely difficult to get my hands on anything because they keep, gobbling it all up, but then on top of it, to hear that that the people that are making it don't really care either. They're fine with it. That's messed up, in my opinion. I don't really agree with that. I think Todd McFarlane is, honestly, I think he's saying what a lot of toy companies are thinking, is that they don't really, it's like, hey man, we made 10,000 of these. It's not our fault if, Joe Schmo went and bought all 10,000. But you can't look at it that way. You have to try at least to show a little bit of trying to understand where the casual collector or even the diehard collectors are coming from. You have to, because you know something, scalpers, yeah, they're a nuisance and they're a pain, but the problem is if people get fed up with your company and people get fed up with your product and not being able to, or lack of your product, I should say, like not being able to find it, a lot of people will leave and go elsewhere. And especially in this day and age where we have an abundance of options and toy companies, you cannot completely turn away from the fact that scalping is an issue and that you are just okay with not doing anything to combat it and just kind of letting it happen. Because like I said, there's a lot of other companies out there, a lot of them. And like for example, I talk about them all the time, but NECA, they make the Ninja Turtle line. Back then they were the only ones, you know. Now you have Super 7, and I feel like there's Ninja Turtle stuff everywhere now. So you have to address the issues. Like I said, I'm not saying for McFarlane to go to the store and start smashing skulls. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, why can't you put up a limited time pre-order system on your own website, just like NECA's doing? You have companies like Super 7 who are doing pre-orders through Big Bad Toy Store, like a third party company. Um, I mean, that's all we're asking for as collectors. We're just asking for a chance to not pay the scalpers and to still get our hands on this product. And that's where a lot of the frustration comes from, because he does make a lot of good product. I mean, he has some stinkers in my opinion, but he does make a lot of good stuff at an affordable price and at a reasonable price. And it's a shame that it gets completely you know it becomes hard to find. And he's not the only one. Hasbro's very, very guilty of this as well, where they release a line that looks really cool, really awesome, and it's gone. It hits the store shelves and it's gone in no time. Now the problem is, like I said, I just wish that these companies would be more willing to do their pre-orders or whatever on their own website, just so that way people can actually go through them and provide, and show them support and show them that they want the product. Um, but I think, I don't know, man. I feel like him saying this comment, once again, I don't think he means it like terribly wrong or anything like that. I think he's just trying to say, like, we live in a free country, you can kind of do what you want type of thing. But to just say that I don't know, man. Maybe he's misunderstanding. Like, he's saying that he doesn't mind if someone buys a $20 figure and then flips it for 80 on eBay. So as far as that goes, it's fine if the person's only buying one. But what we have the issue is when the people go and buy multiples and wipe out the shelves. So I don't know. I don't know. This is a very interesting comment. Maybe he doesn't fully understand the extent of the scalping, where they're actually wiping out shelves, not just buying like one figure then going to the store. Because once again, if that's the case, I don't care either. If you go to the store, you buy a $20 figure, go home, and then you decide you don't want it, and you put on eBay and it's selling for 70, $80, and you only pay $20, that's not your fault, man. You bought it, you ended up not really wanting it, you only bought one, and you're turning around and selling it. I'm fine with it. I don't really care either, because you know what, we've all been guilty of buying way more stuff than we can either A, afford, or B, handle as far as storage goes. And you know what, you're not going to just throw it out. I mean you could return it to the store. I've done that a couple times too. But if you turn around and sell it, that's fine. But I personally have a problem when you go and there's 10 Batmans and you go and buy all 10 and turn around and sell all 10 at $80 a piece. Now I have a problem, because you're making a business out of it. You're screwing everybody else up, and I don't think that's right. And like I said, I've been seeing that with the card community a lot lately, with the Pokemon cards and stuff like that. And it's not right. I know video games have their own issues with that stuff too. It's not right. It's I think if McFarlane could dive more into that comment, I would like to know more and like pick his brain more on that, because as the way it stands, he says $20 figure, right? Like he's it's almost like he's thinking that they're buying like one or two and selling it for 80. But what we're talking about is that these people are camping out of stores, outside of stores. Some of them are even friends with the workers, and the workers are putting it aside for them, and that's not right either. That's messed up, dude. So that's the stuff that we're talking about. That scalping is screwing every community. Because I don't think workers should be able to hold stuff aside for people. You know, it's one of those things where it's like, if I'm here and Bob isn't here, then that should be sold to me, not to Bob. Um, Especially if Bob comes every week and wipes out the shelves. Bob shouldn't get it. Sorry, Bob, but it is what it is. I just want to hear the comment one more time. I know I keep doing this, guys. I'm sorry. I just want to hear it one more time though, to make sure I'm not missing anything.
Could you just get out of the way because there's somebody behind you that actually might enjoy it, right? So if you don't like Spawn Comic, don't buy it. Move out of the way. Somebody behind you might. If you don't like the toy I'm doing, get out of the way. Somebody behind you might. And if you don't like digital art, it's okay. Fine. Like I said, it's a buffet. Put it on your plate with your
What if I
leg.
buy the
Get out of the
entire
way
buffet, though?
and move back behind it. But our job is to put, to me as an artist, is to show art in as many different places and to make it as accessible to many people as possible. So
pre-order.
That's why digital art exists. May not be for everybody, but a ton of people actually enjoy the heck out of it, right? And are there some who just buy it because they want to flip it? Yeah. What are you talking about? That's what the stock market's about, right? So I don't know. We live in a capitalist society. I don't begrudge people for buying a $20 toy from us going to eBay and figuring out how to get $80 for it.
So that right there, that's what I'm talking about. I think he means, and in my mind, I'm thinking he is talking about buying, because he said a $20 toy. Okay. If that's the case, I'm not worried about it either. If you go and buy one, then fine. I'm talking about people that wipe out shelves. People that walk in with stacks or carriages full. That should be no's. Those should not be allowed. I'm sorry. Now, obviously, the stores, they just like the companies, they're looking at it like, hey, it's a sale. They don't care either. The companies look at it like it's a sale. The store look at it like it's a sale. It's a sale. They made a sale. Unfortunately, guys, I'd hate to say this, but the collectors are we're kind of screwed, to be honest with you. I think it's one of those things where you just got to do the best you can with what you can get and actually get your hands on. Everything else, you got to be able to be willing to let it go, or unfortunately pay that scalper price, which I am not. So either, because I mean, I don't see companies really changing much. I mean, like I said, we see some that are showing signs and kind of helping us out a little bit. Like, you got like I said, like companies like NECA who do the open pre-orders for 2 weeks for items that are hot items. They even go in and cancel when they see this multiple like pre-orders from like other accounts and all that stuff, and they can tell they're bots. So I applaud companies like that, and like Sony that was sending like direct emails to these to people to let them know that they're going to have stock in, to give them the first crack at it. Like, I applaud these companies for trying. I really do. The ones that try like this and show at least some effort, I do. And I think it's great. And I think honestly, it's one of those things where when you can get it, great, get it. Other than that, we have a lot of companies like this that have that same mentality, that are just going to say, hey man, it's not our fault. It's a sale. We can't blame anybody. We can't control anybody. So it's frustrating. It really is. And if Todd is thinking they're buying one figure, great, but they're not. Scalpers are buying carriagefuls, multiples. I mean, hell, some of them are even talking to employees and having stuff put aside and hidden and stuff. So it's super frustrating. I mean, the bottom line is, though, the big way to show these companies that you're serious is with your wallet. You don't buy any of their stuff. When their stuff stops selling, that's when it's really going to show these companies that you are irritated with them, you're frustrated with them, and you're not tolerating it anymore. You're not doing it. I mean, think about it the same way when companies make a lot of quality mistakes. You just stop buying it and you say, you know what, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. But anyway, guys, I don't want to keep going about this topic. There's a lot going on here. I just wanted to touch on this. I wanted to say thank you. I know I haven't been as I haven't been, as active as I used to be on YouTube. I do try to sprinkle in some videos here and there. It is tough. So I'm going to try to keep, throwing out some videos every once in a while, guys. Just, be patient with me, and I do appreciate it. But anyway, guys, so thank you guys very much. Go check out Real Batman. Awesome channel. Awesome dude. And thank you again, Real Batman. Thank you again, subscribers. Thank you again, everybody. And stay safe out there, guys. I'll catch you on the next one. And later.